Starting a new project this morning. We're just getting over Snowmageddon. We had 8 inches of snow here. First time in my life I've seen so much snow in this state. Anyway, it was great. Everybody had a great time. All the roads were closed because we have elevated roads and they all froze. But anyway, time to get back to business. I'm gonna make a buggy for rolling around long planks. So it needs to be strong because I'm gonna roll heavy planks on it. And it's probably like a one-time use deal. So I'm gonna pull some of my bug-eating pecan out of the pile and we're gonna build it with that pecan. So I pulled 4 little pieces of pecan, shoved them through the window. I'm gonna plane both sides just real lightly because it just makes it easier to work with. If they're halfway flat, probably only need 2, but while I'm planing, I like to do a couple extras, put them back on the pile, and then next time if I need something that's kind of smooth, it's already planed. All right, so side to side, I'm going 2 feet, pretty arbitrary. And front to back, I'm gonna go 3 feet. So I've got 4 3-footers marked and 2 2-footers. I'm gonna go chop those on the saw. And then we're gonna lay out some joinery because I want it to be strong. All right, got them all cut to length. Now I'm gonna joint one edge and then rip them all to the same width because these are rough cut. They're all kind of squirrely. So see if I can get a straight edge on one side and then I'll figure out how wide I can get them all on the table saw and cut them all the same. Okay, here's my frame. The wheels are gonna go in here. I'm gonna mortise and tenon these joints because I want it to be strong. I don't know this spacing until I take the wheel off the frame. I guess I could kind of measure it now, but it'd be easier when I take the wheels off the bicycle frame. But I can cut all of the tenons on both ends of these. They're all going to be the same. So I can cut those. And if I put a skinny blade on my bandsaw, I can cut them with the bandsaw. And I think I can do a pretty good job of that. And then I'll lay out this and I can cut this joint and this joint with the bandsaw. But these joints, I'm going to have to drill and chisel, kind of like I did with that bench. All right, I got lazy. I didn't want to change the blade on the bandsaw. That's the blade I just use all the time. So I was able to make the straight cuts and then take out the majority. And then I'm finishing them off with the jigsaw. It does a pretty good job. Time to extract the wheels so I can get this measurement. While I'm at it, I'm gonna get the pedals because the pedals on my unicycle are all broken up. So we'll salvage that too. And then I'll bring the carcass to the foundry hanging on the fence because I don't throw bike frames away for some reason. I'm weird. So the back stays are 4.5, but the front ones are 3 1/8. So I'm gonna need to space the boards a little different from one side to the other. So I've got my joints laid out. These 3 and these 2 I can cut with the bandsaw and the jigsaw. This one I'll have to drill a hole and then cut with the jigsaw. And again, this is like a one-time use deal, so I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time fitting these things. That's what epoxy with thickener's for. All right, we have a box and we have gluable joints, but we don't have warm weather, so nothing's gonna get glued today. Should be pretty robust enough. Tomorrow I'll go to the foundry and make some little metal brackets to mount the wheels on. And that's gonna be about it. I don't know if I'll put some guides on the top to keep the long planks from falling off the side. I guess I will. We'll be almost ready to go, except we need some warm weather. Day 2 on the cart build. Our snow is almost gone. We had 8 inches of snow in my yard. Unbelievable. First time in my 70 years that's ever happened. Anyway, I was gonna go to the foundry this morning and make some metal brackets to go here and to hold the axle, but I think I'm gonna make them out of wood. I don't need to have any things made out of metal, so let's get on to that. I got 4 blocks of the same material. I need to drill a hole for the axle. I need to cut these corners off and need to saw cut down the center line of the axle so I'll be able to clamp the axle. Shouldn't be a problem. Just need to get them all the holes in the same place so it'll go straight. Okay, got the axle supports cut and drilled, but I do think I want to cut this corner off and then I'm going to rip it right down the center line of the hole. So when I screw it together, it'll clamp down on the axle. It won't go anywhere. And then I think I'm gonna move everything next door to my wife's studio because it's still 30 degrees here. It's too cold for me to do any kind of gluing. And we've had the heater on over there, so I don't think she's coming outside today. So we'll go over there and we're gonna glue and clamp, and we're done for the day, really. Yeah, absolutely, done for the day. Okay, my little blocks are cut and drilled, and I sliced the top off. So after I get this part glued and screwed to here, it'll be like one piece. And then I just need to set this on top and screw it tight, and it should do fine. So I'm gonna move my operation while I'm gonna drill these for some long screws. I'm gonna move my operation next door where it's warmer. Maybe put the heat gun on this wood and mix some epoxy and start gluing and screwing this thing together, or gluing it together. Well, there'll be screws here. I'm not gonna put these screws on the end. It's gonna be strong enough. Okay, I'm ready to glue. Epoxy glue. I'm gonna prime all of the surfaces with unthickened, and then mix some thickened to kind of make up for my lack of perfection. I have warmed all the boards up with the heat gun, and I'm in the studio. I don't know what the temperature is in here, but not nearly as cold as outside. We got a little heater going. I brought the glue in yesterday so it could be warming up. So a lot of times I have to put the glue in the microwave for like 10 or 15 seconds just to get it thin enough to mix it up, at least with that epoxy. So, okay, I'm gonna be busy for a little while. All right, we're all glued up. It looks pretty bad right now, but it'll clean up. I probably can't mess with it anymore today because it's cold and epoxy's slow. But yeah, it's together. Okay, another cold night here, 28 degrees outside. The little heater that is trying to keep it warm in here. And the epoxy kind of cured. I can still scratch it with my fingernail. So it'll hold the boards together, but it may gum up my sandpaper when I try to sand it. We'll have to check on that. And at the last second, I had some leftover glue, so I glued a little handle. Try to make it easier to pull around when there's no load on it. So I'm gonna take the clamps off and bring it out front and get the belt sander and start working on this thing. All right, spent a little time with the belt sander and the router and got it cleaned up pretty well. Good enough for paint, good enough for intended purpose. Makes my jigsaw cut box joints look a lot better. So let's go get a coat of paint on it, and then we're done with this for a little while again. But I got another project. I got a glider, another glider. I love my glider that I have, and now I have two. I took it apart yesterday. I had to cut the bolts off. This is the base. That's the other part of the base. And these are the little swingers. And it's got some issues. This is totally rusted out and no longer supports the seat. If you sit on it, it comes down. It's steel, so theoretically it could be welded, but it is so rusty and nasty. I'll probably just clean it up with a wire cup on the grinder and put some epoxy on it. And the same with the other side. Got a little hole right here. There's no way to weld that. It's just, there's nothing left. So we're gonna patch it up, put some paint on it, and bring it to the country. Not sure how often this happens, but I'm heating my paint in the microwave because it was next door and it was 28 degrees this morning. So I'm kind of guessing at the time. I got in there for 25 seconds. All right, well, we got a coat of paint on it and we got the wheels in place, and I got them cinched down with the little clamps. And they do fine, and I added two more things. I'll flip it over and show you. I added a little block on both ends, and that's in case the planks don't want to stay put. I can put a clamp, a bar clamp or a C-clamp on them to hold them still. And I put a fold-away handle because when there's no planks on here, I didn't want to have to bend down so far to roll it. This thing will be in this position when there's a plank on it, and I will steer from the plank. But when it's empty, I can pick this up and we can drive from up here. This is pretty cool. Actually, it's going to work better for pulling. Yeah, this is going to save my back because I have a lot of planks to move. Tomorrow I'll get, next time I need to grab a plank and put it on here and see how it's going to work. Pull this board down from the attic. It is oak. It's about 15 inches wide. It's kind of weird though. It's like full 1 inch on one side and it's less than 3/4 on the other side. And it's dry. It's been up there since we built the house 20-something years. And this is kind of similar to all the boards I got to move with this little dolly. So let's do a test run and see if it's going to be able to get through the house. Pretty heavy. Let's see how it's going to roll. My bride's heading off to the grocery store, so let's get in the house with it before she comes back. Well, it rolls like a breeze. I got it a little heavy in the front, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm having to push down on the back instead of picking up on the back. One of my questions is, will I be able to get over the door threshold without the board on top scooting off? Let's see. You see, it's a pretty good jump. Okay, so I will need C-clamps. Dropped a couple of 2x4s here to kind of like make an improvised ramp. I probably will need to make a real ramp. And I got a clamping the board to the trolley. So let's try again. Oh yeah. So what the heck is all this about? The flooring in this room is hardwood planks. I believe they're 1.5 inches thick. I don't really remember. I planed them all. They were scraps from construction. They were wood sheeting, mixed hardwoods, and I thought they were dry when I put them down, but they have shrunk in a bunch in the last 20 years. And the cracks are one thing, but when they shrank, the fasteners came loose. So the floor does a lot of creaking when you walk on it, which I'm not crazy about. And there were a couple of bad spots that over the years have just failed. Like this edge right here, you can see the spline. See, this one shrunk so much that the joint's exposed. And I don't know what's going on with this one. I think the grandkids must have poked a hole in it. Looks like powder post beetles, so we need to get rid of that one. So anyway, I'm gonna take all these boards up and take them outside, run them through the planer, take off a little bit, join them, get the straight edges again, and replace or redo whatever I have to do with the spline joint, and bring them all back and put them all back in, which is gonna mean they're gonna be skinnier. So I'm gonna have to add probably 2 more new rows to make up for the loss. Well, plus if you close up all these cracks, you're gonna lose a lot. And if I get rid of the bad planks. So anyway, these boards are heavy. These are hardwood, 1.5 inches thick. I'm 20-something years older than I was when I put this floor down. Yeah, you hear it. So I needed all the help I can get to haul these planks back and forth. And that's what this little buggy's for. And I think it's gonna work just right. Save me a little bit of grunt work. Anyway, it's going to be a pretty good sized project, but we're not going to do it now. We're going to wait till the spring when the weather's nice and I can just leave these doors open. And yeah, gonna be a good job. So thanks for watching.